Hey y'all, well today on the channel we got, as usual, tons of information out there. We got an exclusive to this channel for the time being, right now only. We got exciting new opening that's going to be great for the hikers that are coming up into Vermont. We've got trail days, a recap from trail days, always an awesome time there with the hiker community, and a blast from the past. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So the blast from the past is Tick Magnet. So Tick Magnet was a thru hiker in 2024. He has kind of been a bridge over 2025 because he didn't get finished, so he's back on trail now finishing, and he will finish up with the class of 2025 since in this update.
I'm Dino. It's Tick Magnet from the class of 2024 and now class of 2025. I'm a bridge student. At any rate, I had to get off the trail late fall of 24 because of issues back home and snow in the whites. So I'm now back on the trail, headed north from the New York-New Jersey border. I'm now up. I got about one more day left here in New York before I cross into Connecticut, and the trail's good. Could use a little clipping here and there. It's kind of a maze that they've let the brush go in, but that's all right. We can make it through. But at any rate, I'll be powering up to Maine here, and it's great to be back on the trail. So yeah, I've been following you and all the things going on with the trail, and hope you're doing well. And I appreciate how you keep us all together, keep us all informed, and help us learn about each other on the trail. So talk to you next week.
Fancy Pants, she has made it through the devastation zone there in Tennessee from all the storm damage, and ran into her at trail days. What a treat to run into not only a thru hiker, but thru hiker that has been updating us on a regular week, and just to get to meet her there and spend some time chatting and meet her stuffed family and everything. So that was pretty cool. But before she got to trail day, she put together an update for us.
Hey Ramdino, Fancy Pants, Curious George, and Fifi with our weekly check-in. I'd like to dedicate this check-in to all of the trail volunteers who have worked extremely hard to make the trail passable for us hikers. I met Joe Morris from the Tennessee Eastman Hiking and Canoeing Club, and then I also met a bunch of people from the ATC Conarock crew. So this is a shout out to both of them. Thank you from all of us for what you have done. The trail has been pretty clear, conditions are good. Occasionally you might have to walk over a log or two, but honestly, it just blows my mind how they've been able to clear the trail for us. Thanks again, Ramdino, for all you do. We're almost in Damascus. Trail days this weekend. Whoop, whoop.
Zuko, Qatar, and in India, they also send in their update.
Hey, Ramdino. Here we all are again. Guess what today is? We leave New Jersey and enter New York. There we are.
Zuko, Katara, and Indy.
Over and out.
Alpha Gal, he and Metro have made it to Harper's Ferry, but they came back down for trail days. Got to meet him. Didn't get a picture of Alpha Gal, but he came up to me in the middle of the parade, came out of the parade to say hey and everything. So awesome, cool to see them, and congrats on them make it to the not exactly the halfway point, but what everybody kind of considers as one of the lower halfway points there. So that is awesome to hear, Alpha Gal. Tortoise and Hare, they have made it to Damascus, but they decided not to hang around for trail days. They want to stay on the trail. So they are probably through the Grayson Highlands area by now. They did come back and make a comment about the detour there around Our Mountain Gap. They want everybody to know that, it's just part of the trail. Yes, it's tough. Yes, it's hard, but it's just part of the trail. There's lots of parts of the trail that are tough. I got a feeling that people are going to think that wasn't too tough when they get up to the Whites in New Hampshire. But it did say thanks a lot to the trail maintainers out there. The logs got a little slick when they went through there because it was wet. I don't know if the trail maintainers are planning to cut those hash marks in them or not, but anyway, thanks to the trail maintainers that did all that to put that together. They had like, I think it's 253 steps that they had to fabricate and put in there. So thanks a lot, Tennessee Eastman, for doing all that. Tortoise and Hare, they were just grateful that they had a continuous footpath going up to Katahdin, and they didn't have to shuttle around that area. Sonny Jim, he is through the Smokies, and he sends in a video.
Hey there, Ramdino. Sonny Jim here, checking in at the end of the Smokies. We spent the night in the cage at the last stop on the trail, Davenport Gap Shelter. We did it straight through 7 days, and we had experienced everything: thunderstorms, lightning. We had hail come down on us. We had an earthquake. It was just everything that could possibly happen nearly happened. So it was quite the experience of the Smokies. Now we're pressing on to resupply and hot springs and going on from there. But we're making time as fast as we can go, and it's going great. So we spent the night with Papa Bean, Can, and Mike. So we're still pressing on. Thanks for all you do. Bye now.
And Princess Pete, she has made it up to Woods Hole Hostel, and I guess that's considered central northern Virginia. And so that's at mile 700, and she's continuing north. And then we got our folks out there, our awesome threesome that reports in every week. That's OG, Boston, and Straps. They report in.
Hey Ramdino, OG, Boston, and me, Straps. We're in Bowling Springs, Pennsylvania, at the former headquarters of the ATC. Trail's been very wet the last few days, but hopefully we're out of it now. And just a shout out to Freight Train and Turtle for the trail magic this week. I appreciate it. We're out.
And Rope Bunny, he sends in an update from Maine. He says the blowdowns on the AT and the Crocker Mountain area are horrendous, according to him. And he says it's like an absolute war zone, and he says it's approximately NOBO mile 2000 to 2005. And then Luscious, he reports in from the Lookout Shelter in Vermud.
Hello, Ramdino. Luscious here. In between bouts of rain and thunder. Seems like there's a little break up here. I'm on the lookout. And I just wanted to say how much I'm loving Vermont, despite the fact that it's the messiest trail since I started in Georgia. I would say the 2 or 3 miles leading up to Cooper's Lodge on Killington was probably the worst. So once you power through that, the north side of Killington was fine, and I would say it's smooth sailing, except there's just so many blowdowns. You have to walk around. Kind of brings you out of your little zen moment. Anyhow, I'm going to be heading off the trail once I hit New Hampshire, and back on a week later. I just have some family celebrations at home involving my daughter's high school graduation and birthday, so I'm excited about that, and I'll be back on the trail a week later, so I'll talk to you then.
Rabbit, he has made it to Connecticut, and he says it's rainy. Says the New York trail maintainers need to get out and do a little bit of work. Says there's lots of overgrowth in poorly marked areas and places. And that's a comment I hear a lot about New York. It's just not marked really well. So just, when you go up there, you may wind up, and I've done it before, walk down a washout as opposed to staying on the trail. So be careful about that. He did say the Trailside Zoo was great. And then our huge announcement that we got that's exclusive to this channel is last year, Stick the Eagle, you followed him along on this channel, and he had an awesome hike reported into us on a regular basis. Well, Stick now is going to be doing a SOBO 2025. So that is awesome. Ran into him at Trail Days, and he didn't tell me there. He actually sent me this video later when I got back home. So congrats on getting that, getting your life in order to be able to do that. You just can't stay away from the trail. I get it. I'm the same way, even though I haven't thru hiked before. That's my happy place, Stick. So looking forward to seeing you out there and looking forward to your updates each week.
Hey Ramdino, it's Dick the Eagle, and today we are hiking southbound from Dix Creek Gap to Unicoi Gap. We stayed at the Green Dragon Hostel last night. Bill and Donna are super awesome there. Absolutely an amazing stay, as always. We did an AT northbound thru hike, but I've missed these white blazes here, so I've come back to say hi to these friendly neighborhood white blazes and also give you an announcement, and you're the first one to hear this. Stick the Eagle will be leaving in late August from Mount Katahdin on an AT 2025 SOBO thru hike. I am super excited for this, super excited to share it with all of you again on Stick the Eagle and giving you updates too, Ramdino, if you'll take them. Thank you so much, and happy trails.
Now, some news out there on the trail course. Trail days is always a hoot. It was so great seeing everybody out there, so I was only up for the day. Mama didn't raise no fool, so I wasn't going to get out in that weather out there. I did hear that they had to evacuate some folks that were down there on the river in the middle of the night, like 3 o'clock in the morning. So hopefully everybody fared well there. But thanks a lot for everybody that came up and said, hey, and your comments that people give me out there, you know, not only online, but particularly in person like that, that is so meaningful to me. That's what keeps me doing this each and every week. The people to come up and tell me what it means to them. I had somebody run out of the parade and tell me, hey, thanks, you're the reason I'm here. I mean, that's just crazy and I'm not taking credit for that. I'm going to let the community take credit for that. I'm just here being the figurehead, just the guy that puts it together every week, but it's the community out there that once people get out on the trail, you guys keep them out there, and so that is awesome, that the community we have together. I even had Princess Leia came up to me and told me how much she appreciated me, so that's awesome to get to meet Princess Leia, right? But in any case, thanks a lot to everybody that came up and commented to me, and it was great speaking with everybody out there. And look forward to your continued updates as you move on up the trail. And then Spineless Cougar, he's our Trail Angel Vermud correspondent up there in Vermud, and he reports in that the Clarendon Bridge, the Clarendon Gorge Bridge that had been closed and was going to necessitate a shuttle round or a walk around, whatever, a detour, is now back open. So that's awesome that the Grand Mountain Club has gotten on that so fast, had some structural damage. They had to do a lot of work and, you know, in suspension baskets and stuff to make that happen. So appreciate them doing that, but it is now open and hikers do not have to worry about going through there and having to do a workaround around the Clarendon Gorge. Cougar also reports in that the mud season is now in effect for Vermud. So Vermont, they call it Vermud because the mud season, when the hikers come through there, the bubble comes through, is typically pretty bad. We came through the first year, Come Along and I came through there, and it was nothing but trying to dodge mud puddles, and after a while you just capitulate and you just walk right through the middle of them. And so your feet are always wet and your socks are always wet and it's always nasty. And of course mud puddles bring the bugs, so I call them bug puddles. But in any case, that's the way it is, and that's just part of the trail. And Spineless Cougar also, he is legally blind, so he can't drive, but he greatly enjoys trail magic and likes to get out there multiple times a month as he can. He has somebody, I believe it's Roof Walker, that has been helping him, and he's looking for other folks that could help him on trail days. Those people obviously would need to have a license to drive him, and not trail days. I mean, to be a trail angel on the days he's out there. So he's in Vermont and around, I believe, people in the Albany, New York area is where he's looking for folks that maybe could help him come from there. So send me a comment down below, and I'll put you guys in touch. Or send me an email or something to that effect. I'll put you guys, that would probably be better to keep your information private. I'll put you guys in touch, and maybe you can help Spineless Cougar out. The reroute continues around Iron Mountain Gap. I've got reports that it's going to go on until July or August, and then I've also had some other folks tell me that it may go on to the end of the year. So it's progressing slow up there. Just, you know, the magnitude of what's going on and how they're having to do that kind of harvesting work or timber salvage up there. It's a whole lot different than a normal logging operation. So typically you don't use tracos for a logging operation, do you, Daisy? So in any case, that's still going to be there. The detour is still going to be there, and then even after the trees are salvaged and everything, there's still got to be trail work that's got to be done, and so people have got to, you know, the trail maintainers got to get in there and fill in root ball holes and just probably reestablish the trail. I had heard that they were not, the loggers were not actually getting on the trail, driving heavy equipment across the trail, but you know, the problem is that there's trees on the other side of the trail where they are having to, you know, harvest those or salvage them, and so they're hooking them up with cables and dragging them across the trail. So it seems like to me that would cause more damage than driving a piece of equipment across it. But anyway, I'm not an expert on it, but that is going to be going on for some months. The bubble is pretty much through that section now, and so but in any case, you've got section hikers and day hikers that are getting out there, and of course we got SOBO and flip-floppers that are going to be coming through that area as well. And then from our northern correspondent, Whispers, he covers kind of the White Mountain area, Maine, New Hampshire, a little bit of Vermont for us, and Census of News is going on up there. He says all the huts in the Whites, they're going to be open for summer full service session for some full service season June 5th. So full season means they'll have caretakers, food, and you can, you know, spend the night there and stuff like that. So they'll be open. Of course, you've got to probably make reservations to do that. Sometimes you can work for stay at these places, but if they're full of paying customers, then that's going to be a no-go there. But he did say the winters right now, the huts now are in winter caretaker / self-service mode. So self-service mode means that you can seek shelter there. You can oftentimes stay there, and they do have mattresses, but they don't have blankets like they normally do. There's no food, no running water. Occasionally they have a fire, but even on the interior with a fire, sometimes it can get down below freezing on the interior. So, but if you can't, you know, if that's a stop for you there that you need to make because you're not around a shelter area or a campsite area up there, or you need to get in, that would be an option for you. He also says the monorails are still out there, and we still have some snow fields, but those are getting less and less each day. And he says even the locals are no longer using microspikes up there. So a couple shelters that are going to be closing, Eckville, and these are in Pennsylvania. Is it Pennsylvania? Yeah, Eckville and the 501 shelter. I was thinking they were not closing until 2026. Not sure about that. They're going to be torn down and no longer there at all. But I do know that the Birch Run shelter in Pennsylvania is closed due to bats, and that's at mile 1095.5. So they've got some bats there and several species apparently, but along with the bats bring bat bugs. So that's closed until they can get that controlled there. Not sure if it's even legal to remove bats to an area, you know, and bats are a protected species, to remove them from an area. So that'll be interesting to see that. Hey, so day was a short one, but we got plenty of places over here where you can go, or over here, whichever one I decide to do it on, where you can go and check out what you may have missed before. I got right now working on my Shanny's hike that I did, getting those updated, and I still got some PA from last year that I promised you that I got to get online. But until then, go check out what's going on over here with the Appalachian Trail thru hikers in 2025. That's all I got for this week, folks. As always, appreciate you, and we hope to see you out here.